Hello, I'm back again with another video in the sex and abuse series, and today I'm going to be talking about sex abuse and seduction, and being able to identify the setup really, and to be able to protect ourselves under the safe relationship training umbrella so that we can identify what's going on early on. So why is it important to be able to identify what's going on early on? As far as our safe relationship training toolbox is concerned, and our ability to be able to protect ourselves in the future, it's very important. One reason is that we save ourselves a lot of energy, and maintaining a strong energy base is very important. The other thing is that we take ourselves out of the zone where we've been possibly living, thinking that, oh well, what does it matter? I can have a fling, whatever, and have some fun, and that will be that. A lot of people have made that mistake and have found themselves in dangerous, unhealthy, or abusive situations that they haven't been able to get themselves out of, purely because of that initial seduction phase. And that seduction phase is often the phase that a lot of people keep hold of, sometimes for years, because they try to get their relationship back to that initial phase, which was so wonderful, when actually that initial phase wasn't real. And that's where they get stuck in the fairy tale. They get stuck in that honeymoon phase, and they live in that twilight zone for years, trying to get their partner to get back into that zone with them, whereas that partner possibly wasn't in the zone in the first place with them. It was purely seduction. And seduction can be very beguiling, it can be very powerful, it can keep us hooked in for a very long time, it can keep us in a situation where we're accepting disrespect, abuse, dangerous situations that are being set up, and it can keep us in denial as to what actually has happened and what's going on. So, understanding the setup right from the beginning is an important key point, because that way we have power, we maintain our power base, and we act in an empowered way right at the beginning, and we save us a lot of trouble further down the line. So what is seduction? It's often a way of beguiling someone into a situation that they may not have wanted to go into, through compliments, through making the person feel very special and very cherished, if you will. Sometimes making the person feel worshipped, almost, and holding them up on a pedestal where they are placed temporarily, potentially, so that they have the feeling, the sense, that this person wants them so much and desires them so much. And in that way, they are convinced that they are with the one. And it's purely based on seduction. It's purely based on charm, which is like a type of hypnotism, if you will, to get the person to be vulnerable, to lower their guard, and to also get them in line with an abuser's agenda. So in the seduction phase, if we hand over our power to that dynamic that's going on, we could lose sight of what is actually happening, and we could lose sight of the setup that's being put in place. so that we're actually set up for the future. We could be set up for a casual engagement. We could be set up for a future abusive relationship where we're held under control, where we're dominated, where we're brought in line with the abuser's agenda, where we hand over our identity. We could be set up for a situation which is not satisfying for us at all, where we're just giving and giving and giving because we want to get that initial period back again. And for some reason, which we do not understand, that initial period has disappeared. And we're getting suddenly fed crumbs of attention, possibly no attention, possibly that seduction phase has been used to groom us, and to groom us for sexual abuse somewhere down the line. And if we're not careful, and if we do not boundary ourselves, if we do not remain aware and stay in our own reality, rather than being drawn into someone else's reality, we could lose the plot, as they say, and we could remain in their reality, having forgotten completely about our own reality somewhere down the line, which we could have compromised in the name of seduction, in the name of being adored, and of wanting to get the other person back to that initial period. And some abusers will use that seduction period in order to get us to chase. All they have to do is dump all this love bombing on us, put all this stuff on us, convince us that they adore us and cherish us, and then pull back quickly, which is a shock to the system. It's a shock to the person who has been love bombed. They wonder what's going on. What did I do wrong? It must be me. I'm going to have to go and see. I'm going to have to talk to him. I'm going to ask him what I've done. And this is often the purpose, so that you chase, so that the abuser doesn't have to do the work, so that they know then, you send them the message that you are hooked and that you're ready to be groomed, to be taken up to the next level of abuse. And initially, emotional and verbal abuse is often used, then psychological abuse is introduced, spiritual abuse is introduced, where the spirit and soul of the person is directed and controlled by the abuser, and sexual abuse is used along the way in order to degrade the victim more. It's not about love. Nothing about this is about love. Seduction isn't love. Seduction is building someone's ego up. Seduction is used as a tool very often to get you in line, to prepare you for the future. And if that sexual abuse then turns into violence, the victim often finds themselves in a position where they've handed over their self-esteem, handed over their confidence, handed over their identity, handed over their sexuality to be controlled and manipulated by someone else. And all of this is to such a degree that the victim then feels immobilized. They feel stuck. They're stagnant. They're unable to move forward, let alone concentrate on their work or their personal growth, because the whole of their consciousness is directed towards the abuser and trying to fix the situation, which is unfixable because the controller has the situation absolutely under control. And the victim is kept busy trying to please the abuser in order to stop the abuse. It's not true when people say that the victim enjoys abuse. The victim is busy trying to save the relationship, save herself, look after the family, trying to keep herself out of the abusive zone, not in it. That's key to understand. And all these dynamics that you see her doing is her trying to survive. So, in a way, the victim in this situation, in any domestic violence situation, is trying to save her life and using all sorts of tools that she has in order to